Welcome to Melrose Unitarian Universalist Church. Our service today is Moving Forward with Faith. Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm the Reverend Dr. Suzanne Intriligator, and I am delighted to be here this morning to be part of this special service wrapping up a very full year and looking into our future together. Our church is a vibrant, caring community dedicated to love and service. All who share our values are welcome to be with us. Today is our last formal worship service of the year here in the sanctuary. Next Sunday, we gather at the same time for our church picnic at Pine Banks Park. The membership committee will be providing food, but if you could please bring a reusable plate and your own cutlery and maybe even a container to bring home leftovers, it would be very much appreciated. On Sundays throughout the summer, we are organizing activities to keep us connected, and they sound really fun. I think we have volunteers for about half the Sundays, so if you have an idea that you'd like to lead us in a walk or a class or a discussion on a topic, please see Garen or Eric, both of whom are here. There's Garen. Eric, you can wave too. There he is. Excellent. I think there are still some Sundays available, so talk to them. If you read your newsletter this past week, you saw that our Next Steps learning teams have published their final report and recommendations. Plus, they even made, for your convenience, a shorter executive summary. In today's worship service, especially in the sermon time, we will be lifting up everything that they've learned this year and everything that they're hoping to do next year, or hoping we will all do together next year. And then after that, we'll have a special Q&A time. After worship today, in the parlor, there'll be a Q&A to talk further about the recommendations for next year. We're also going to have another Q&A on Wednesday night on Zoom for our Zoom people and anybody else who'd like to attend. Everyone's welcome to both of those. These learning teams have worked so hard this year. I think you'll be really impressed with all that they've done. And I really invite everybody to engage in this process because we're going to be talking about how we're going to be the church of the future, and it matters to all of us. So please take part when you can. Take a look at the reports, and please listen carefully and take part in the discussions today. Big thank you to our helpers who are making this worship service possible. Our usher is Wendy Mastronardi, thank you. Our greeter is Nyla McCulloch, and coffee hosts are Florence Cordovano and Vincent Roger. Now, it's time to turn around and take a good look at who's here. Wave hi, say good morning. Send out some hugs if you like. And let's say hi to our friends on Zoom. Good morning, Zoom people. Hello, I see you. Oh, look, there's Liz Folzer. She got a haircut. Hey. Hi, Jennifer. Hi, Amy. Good to see you all. Kathy. Mary, hi. Good morning. Thanks, everybody. I call us to worship with these words from the Reverend Tess Baumberger. This is a responsive reading, so I'm going to say a little short bit, and I'm going to gesture to you, and I hope that you will respond every time with, "We travel this road together." From the busyness of every day, we gather once a week to remember who we are, to dream of who we might become. We travel this road together. As companions on this journey, we share the milestones we meet along the way. Individual moments of joy and sorrow become shared moments of comfort and celebration. We travel this road together. We share this journey across differences of belief and opinion because we value diversity and because we care for one another. We travel this road together. Today, as we take the next steps, let us notice our fellow travelers, the burdens that they carry, the songs that inspire their hearts. We travel this road together. As we gather in beloved community, let us open the holy havens of our hearts. Let us share the sacred places of our souls, for we are pilgrims who share a common path. We travel this road together. Amen. And now we light the symbol of our faith, the flaming chalice. I invite member Cassandra Koudalidis to come forward and light it for us, and then lead us all in our covenant.
Good morning, everybody. I invite you now to rise in body or in spirit and join me in the words of our covenant, which you can see on the screen, and I can see right here. So, doctrine of this church, the quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer, to dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve humankind in fellowship, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the divine. This is our great covenant, one with another and with our God.
Cassandra, please, if you would remain standing and join in our opening hymn, which our choir will lead us in. It is, I Know This Rose Will Open, and we're going to sing it as a round. Go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, good morning, folks. We're going to do this piece 3 times this morning. We'll sing it all in unison one time, and then we'll split up into groups. Randall will lead group 1 over here. Corey will lead group 2 over here. Josh will lead group 3 on his aisle. And Charlie will lead group 4 on the other side. I know this rose will open. I know my fear will burn away. I know my soul will unfurl its wings. I know this rose will open. I know this rose will open. This rose, I know this rose. I know this rose. I know my soul. I know my soul. I know this rose. I know my soul. I know this rose. I know this rose. I know this rose. I know this rose. I know my soul. I know my soul. I know this rose. I know my soul. I know this rose. I know this rose will open.
Please be seated. Our story today is about endings and beginnings. It's called Goodbye, Friend. Hello, Friend, by Corey Dorfield. Bye, Mom. Every goodbye leads to a hello. Hi, I'm Charlie. Goodbye to sitting alone is hello to sitting together. Goodbye to outside is hello to inside. Goodbye to snowmen is hello to puddles. Goodbye to long walks, butterflies, and the sun is hello to long talks, fireflies, and the stars. Goodbye to an empty bowl is hello to a full heart. Goodbye to only watching is hello to joining in. Goodbye to almost giving up is hello to one more try. Goodbye to superpowers is hello to sweet dreams. But sometimes, when you least expect it, a goodbye comes along that really feels like the end. Sometimes goodbye is the last thing you want to say. Like when goodbye to holding tight, bye, Charlie, is hello to letting go. But no matter what, goodbye to today is hello to tomorrow. Because every goodbye leads to a hello. Hi, I'm Stella. Thank you so much for your good listening. And this is leading to my goodbye. It's time for you all to go downstairs and have your year-end celebration. Have a good time. Every Sunday at the center of our service, we create together a time of quiet, a time of meditation, a time for each of us to reconnect with our own values, to our own highest self, to our own sense of the divine. Let's begin this time together by closing our eyes, relaxing into our seats, feeling our feet on the floor, resting our arms, and breathing deeply together. For our meditation time, first we'll join in our centering song, then we'll sit for a few minutes of shared quiet, then we'll speak to one another of our joys and sorrows, and then I will lead a prayer. Our worship theme for June is delight. It's a time to reconnect with the joy of being alive. Our centering song for June is "'Tis a Gift to Be Simple," number 16 in the gray hymnal. Lyrics will appear on the screen. Please remain seated and join in as you like. Let the song gently guide you into our shared silence.
Right, we'll be in the
It's our tradition here every Sunday to share with one another our joys and sorrows, the personal milestones of our lives. We share with honesty and we listen with kindness and care, and the sharing knits us into an ever stronger community. I invite anyone who has a sorrow to share today to please come forward and speak from the mic. I invite the people on Zoom to go ahead and type into the chat box, and I will read the sorrows aloud.
My name is Gail, and a friend of mine, Helene, asked me to ask for prayers for her brother, who, although he survived cancer some years ago, is facing another bout. He had a lot of side effects from the original radiation he had, so he can't taste. He has a tube for eating, and he may lose his hearing from the operation he needs for the cancer.
Hey, Gail, what's his name so we can remember him in our thoughts? Oh, maybe you don't need to say, just for your friend's son, for Gail's friend's son. Thank you. Brother, thank you. Gail's friend's brother. Please start with your name.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I'm Alex, and a week ago there was a young woman I met at a gas station who needed help finding a place to stay for the night. She was facing some domestic abuse of some kind, and I did what I could to give her a ride where she needed to go, but I'm still worried about her. I hope she's okay now.
Thanks, Alex. Let's hold her in our thoughts. Thank you. Chuck?
I'm Chuck Foley. This is a candle of concern for my sister Katie, whom I just learned this morning was hiking on Mount Katahdin and had a fall, and she suffered a concussion and snapped the radius bone in her forearm. So she's laid up pretty badly, and so just some prayers for her.
Thanks, Chuck. For Chuck's sister, Katie. I don't see any sorrows in our Zoom room. So, Wendy, if you would light one candle as a symbol of our love and care for all who are hurting today, for all the sorrows that were spoken and all those that remain unspoken that we carry in our hearts. Let us remember to reach out to one another with kindness and caring. Thanks, Wendy. And I invite anyone who has a joy to share today to come forward, please, and speak from the mic. I invite people on Zoom to go ahead and type into the chat box if you have a joy to share.
Hi, I'm Stefano. Many of you know that about 10 days ago my dad died, so no, I did not fall asleep during the candles of sorrow. It's a candle of joy because we got to see each other one more time. I live 5,000 miles away, it wasn't a given. And I got to help a little bit my mom and my sister deal with his care for the last few days, and then dealing with the loss afterwards, and also having fun together with Italian bureaucracy. Thanks.
I'm Dan, and I just wanted to celebrate this past year of leadership. They've done a wonderful job. The church is alive and vibrant and doing well, and thank you.
I'm Lisa.
And I'm John.
And he just came up here with me for some reason. I'm really excited and very joyful that I get to see my family in person for the first time since September 2021. And John gets to see my family in person for the first time since the summer of 2019. So we're flying to St. Louis Tuesday. Fingers crossed for the weather. It's looking a little iffy, but we're very excited. So we will miss the picnic, but we're excited to see our family.
Thanks. Have a great time.
Good morning. I'm Doug, and this is Ann, and we've got a couple of celebrations. Right now, we are definitely experiencing one of those saying goodbye and saying hello events because we are selling our house of 33 years tomorrow, but we've already moved into a new house, which is, it's all good, and it's sad at times, but it's going to be great for us in the future. The other celebration is that we too are traveling to see families next week. Seeing Ann's family in Seattle. I've not been there since 2019, I think. And then traveling to see my family after that for my parents' 70th wedding anniversary. So, thanks.
My name is Karen, and I'm celebrating that on Wednesday. I'm going to go to California to see my son and grandson. And then at the end of June, my daughter and I are taking a trip to Scotland together. So there's a lot to look forward to.
Hi, I'm Garen Boyd. I just want to light a candle of celebration for last night. We had our first annual Melrose Commission on Disability and Follow Your Art sponsored storytelling event at Temple Beth Shalom. It was amazing. We had close to 100 people show up, and we had 8 storytellers, including myself, and it was just amazing. In 2019, I called Chris Rodolico, and I said, I'm joining the Commission on Disability, Chris. I really, really, really want to get an event together with Follow Your Art. And last night, when I relayed that story to her, she said, and this is it. And it was beautiful. My second candle actually has a little bit to do with Chris Rodolico. I know a number of you know in this community that Chris Rodolico is receiving the Commonwealth Heroine recognition coming up in 2 weeks. So is my mom. So I'm really, really proud of her and really, really happy that she'll be in the same class as Chris. It's amazing. 2 of my favorite people up there at the State House.
Beautiful.
Hi, I'm Cheryl. I haven't been here in a while. Just life has gotten crazy. But yesterday I got to see a bunch of relatives for the first time in a while because my niece graduated high school last week. And it was just nice to see everybody. One of my aunts who I haven't seen in a while, her son. We made sure to take pictures because this does not happen very often anymore.
Hi, I'm Jane, and this is kind of a mixed candle, but one of gratitude and opportunity. I'm going to be leaving my position at Follow Your Art. Needed to make some changes, and so I finish up there as an employee, but never as a participant and a lover of the place. I'm going to be going back to a place I worked with over 20 years ago at the American Meteorological Society in Boston in their publications department. So I'm excited about this new opportunity. I will miss Follow Your Art, and that's it.
We've got one. Oh, do you have a joy? Go ahead, Wendy.
I'd like to, my name is Wendy Mastronardi, and I'd like to share that I'm starting a new position here at the Franklin Early Education Center this summer as a special education teacher, and looking for personal or any stories about autism or Down syndrome, because I don't have a lot of experience with that and want to hear every story that you all have to share with me.
This is a candle of, hi, I'm Corey Mann, and this is a candle of joy, and kind of sadness because I've been a paraprofessional at the middle school in Stoneham for the last year, and I will be again next year. But I was asked to take over for a Spanish teacher who was going on maternity leave. So for the last quarter of the school year, I have been teaching 2 7th grade and 3 8th grade classes of kids in Spanish, and it's been a horrendous challenge. Middle schoolers, you know, but it's also just been so joyful and so energizing, and they're just such great, personalities, and at the end of the year, I'm having 8th graders coming up to me and saying, "This is really great, Cloud." And, you know, it's just been very fulfilling, and I'm glad to be going back to my more modest job afterwards, but it's been a great joy.
And we have one joy from our Zoom room, from Liz Folzer. Joy in Philadelphia. Richard and I are sharing the joy of a 3-year-old's birthday. So, Wendy, if you'd go ahead and light that other candle. For all the joys that were spoken and unspoken today, let the candle be a reminder to all of us to be grateful for the many, many blessings in our lives. Please join me, if you would, in the spirit of prayer. I offer these words by the Reverend Maureen Killeran. Blessed is the ground where we sit. Holy is this place. Holy are the places of memory, the places which have formed us, where we store the icons of success and shattered dreams and gather threads and pieces of what we would become. Holy are the places of memory. Holy are the places of the dream, the places over the rainbow, where all children are wanted and all people are fed, where colors are the source of celebration and youth and age come to the table as one. Holy are the places of the dream. Holy are the places of change and pain, the places of our struggle, where the rivers of our lives run white and fast, and we hold on, and grow. Holy are the places of change and pain. Holy are the places of connection, the places where we risk ourselves, where hands, touch souls, touch minds, and in awareness still, we change our lives. Holy are the places of connection. Holy are the places of becoming, the places of clear vision, where life and world are intertwined and we can see forever in this moment and give thanks. Holy are the places of becoming. Blessed is this sanctuary of the soul. Holy and whole making is this place. Amen.
This church is a self-supporting organization funded by your generous annual pledge. You may also contribute to our weekly collection plate, which we split every month with a deserving cause. Folks on Zoom can donate either way using the orange button at the top right corner of our homepage at melroseuu.org. For the month of June, in celebration of Pride Month, our church leadership has chosen to support the Trans Fund, an emerging campaign of Side with Love that, through partner groups, offers support to trans people living in the 19 states who have banned health care to trans people. Half our collection plate in June will go to help trans people. This morning for our offertory, we offer up a wonderful anthem of community. This is called We Are One by Brian Tate.
Rise.
And now, in the place of our sermon this morning, our Next Steps core team will present its recommendations and findings.
Good morning. I'm Gretchen Locke, and I served as a co-lead for one of the Next Steps learning teams. Welcome, and thanks for coming this morning. Last fall, MUUC announced the launch of the Next Steps process to help us determine the steps we need to take to navigate the transformative years ahead. Our board engaged consultant Liz Coit to assess our strengths and areas of concern and to make recommendations for moving forward. The board discussed Liz's assessment with the congregation and decided to create 4 learning teams to take a deeper dive into some of the issues facing our church. One team compiled background information on our congregation and our church in the local and national context for our Next Steps process. The topics for the other 3 teams were governance, engagement of elders and adults, and engagement of families, children, and youth. Beginning in February, the teams reached out to folks within and outside of our congregation to collect information and to compile findings and recommendations. The teams considered who are our neighbors and what do they need? What are other churches and organizations doing to attract and better serve multiple generations? What's the best governing structure to function now and into the future? Our full written report, as Reverend Suzanne mentioned, was linked in this week's midweek update, as well as an executive summary. Today, we'll briefly share insights and promising strategies for us to consider moving forward. After the service, again, as Reverend Suzanne mentioned, you can join us in the parlor for a Q&A. We'll also have a Q&A on Wednesday evening on Zoom. So let's get started.
Good morning, everyone. I am Jenny Wingrovius. I was the lead for the governance team. And what we ended up doing for our research is we spoke with various congregations, many of which had been through a similar process that we're doing with Next Steps, and also a couple congregations that were had the same governance structure as us, and some of them evolved into doing different things with their structure. So the biggest thing we learned from speaking with others and just kind of reviewing ourselves is that when the committees and the decision-making by leadership are guided by the mission and vision, they have the strongest and most positive outcomes. The mission and vision are living documents. The most successful congregations review them relatively regularly. And in our congregation, we respond very well to selecting a specific focus that we all share. So oh my goodness, my brain is farting. Pardon? The ministry teams. My brain kept saying mission teams. No, ministry teams. That was very successful for us, and we really reached a lot of our goals with that. So, and as you can see, the need to be reviewed regularly for us is not just mission and vision, but we do think, the 2-year process for us with those teams is going to probably be the most successful. In looking at ourselves as a congregation, volunteers are obviously the lifeblood of our congregation, but there are positions in our volunteer structure that have essentially become part-time jobs. There were some people that are doing 15 hours a week in volunteering. And while we are so thankful to them, that's not a thing that needs to be, we need to make this more manageable for people. The other thing that we found was decision-making by necessity had been kind of siloed. And what that means is there were groups that we said, all right, this is a huge thing, so please help us and take this on. But what ends up happening then is that the communication can sometimes get lost. And it's not intentional, but that's just how things happen. So we need to have roles and accountability more well-defined, because right now there are kind of hazy bits. We have weak leadership development, and that doesn't say the people are weak, it's just that we're not doing programs to make sure that we're all on the same page and that we all are striving for the same goals. And expectations as members, so as being a member of MUUC at this point, is unclear. So the recommendations is to affirm the mission and vision, which is actually what we're doing with Next Steps. Look at that, we've already done some of it. We want to clearly express our membership responsibility. So what does it mean to be a member at MUUC? We want to look at the volunteer policy to make sure that the volunteer roles are more appropriate and not, draining people, and that they're getting supported the way that they need. We want to find leadership development programs. We're looking into that and clarifying roles with the board and with the chairs of committees and things. We will be re-examining the bylaws because we found with many of these congregations, their bylaws are very different. They're structured differently. They're reviewed regularly. And then reviewing the organizational structure from the place of, is the board going to have different roles? Are we going to have a different way of communicating and different sorts of leadership meetings, et cetera? So thank you. That is us, and I will be at the thing afterwards for any questions.
Good morning. I'm very excited to present to you the findings of our Next Steps learning team, engaging adults and elders. Our team began meeting immediately and regularly, working on positioning our team to begin the process of interviewing the larger pool of congregants, external and internal community resources. SWOT, or Strengths, Weaknesses, Opportunities, and Threat Analysis, was very successful in drawing out specific areas of strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Although we did notice contradictions and inconsistencies, we were able to create and clearly define the assessment of our current configuration. So let's explore our strengths first. Overwhelmingly, people support and see our social justice ministry teams and the work done within these groups as a strength at MUUC. Many saw the strengths of our affinity teams. Groups started and nourished with members interested and focused on a specific affinity. Current affinity groups include knitting, quilting, meditation. Our music program, our amazing choir, instrumentalists, and Tom are indeed strengths of MUUC. At its heart, MUUC is a supportive community, makes all the work possible, and we have ducats. As usual, thank you for your financial contribution and yearly pledge. So here we go now into, we also looked at the challenges. The areas that MUUC could be working on to make better are communication and marketing. We need to get ourselves out there more and promote the good work of MUUC. Volunteerism is problematic, much like Jenny said. Oftentimes, we are looking for new volunteers because the volunteers we have are usually overcommitted. No adult ed program. Currently, we don't have covenant groups, license, or other adult ed programs that could be effective in pulling together the community. What we learned, the need for. Overwhelmingly, most of the adults we interviewed indicated that they would like and would benefit from adult education and an enrichment program. Prior to the pandemic, we had been developing a LISM program. We have in the past have more screenings and other programs to target adults in our congregation. We need to promote events better, both in MUUC and out in our wider community. We are amazing people doing amazing things, and we should be humble, but not to a point that our own congregation and community have no idea what we are doing. We also heard that we need to develop more partnerships with outside organizations and groups, both within and outside of our community. There are tons of benefits we could be sharing by partnering with other organizations, churches, and programs. Aligning ourselves with these groups could increase opportunities for volunteers, increase our own volunteers, and further connect us to our community in new ways. People would also like to see us have more fellowship, social events, which I think would be happening more now that the pandemic is winding down. They would also like to see more congregational care. In the past, we have had organized care teams that respond to individuals in the church who might need a meal or a ride, or just someone to listen to them in their time of need. So here's our recommendations. Here's what the Next Steps adults and elders have recommended for next steps. A clear mission that meets a community need. How are we known and recognized as a leader in the community? Defining MUUC's role in our post-pandemic world in the broader sense, as well as how we are known in the community. Expanding our current religious education program into a lifespan family ministry model. Think outside the box of Sunday morning. Allow people to attend activities without expectation of membership or pledge at every, contributing money or time, or, we can lower our expectations of church membership. Explore partnerships with other organizations. This could certainly increase MUUC's outreach to the community and increase opportunities to collaborate on projects, volunteer work, and strengthening bonds in and outside of MUUC. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm going to give you a break from reading and just show you pictures of some of the beautiful children in our church during my presentation. It's my pleasure to share with you some of the highlights from the Children's, Youth, and Families team. In doing our research, we spoke with church staff, parents, youth, and children, parents of young children who are not members of this church, an experienced RE consultant, and many other churches and organizations. But before we looked at new ideas, we took a look at what we're already doing, what's going well, and what are some of the challenges. Some of the strengths we identified include OWL, Our Whole Lives, a unique and extremely valuable sexuality education program for middle school youth. Partnering with churches in Malden, Melrose, and Reading was particularly effective for that program. Special events such as the Halloween party and the MLK Day of Service and the Opening Doors program engaged people of all ages, and including many folks from outside of our church. A week-long camp for children was held last August in partnership with the Malden UU Church, and the camp filled a critical need for families, which is childcare during the summer, while fostering UU values in a fun and engaging way. And adding the play area in the back of the sanctuary for babies and toddlers has been especially appreciated by newcomers who are not yet ready to use the nursery. Many of the challenges we face stem from the changing needs of families. Two working parents or single parenting, they have very busy and scheduled lives, and Sunday mornings are often their downtime or their family time. So attendance on Sunday mornings has been low, averaging 5 to 7 children, and very few babies in the nursery. Another challenge is getting enough volunteers to help with RE programming. So here's some of what we learned from all of our research. First of all, MUUC is not unique. Church attendance is down among children in all denominations across the country. The pandemic exacerbated a problem that already existed, that is, decreasing enrollment. However, in talking to so many other churches and hearing about their struggles, we realized how much we are doing well here in Melrose. We need to celebrate our strengths and successes and be committed to the children that we do have attending. Our confidence will attract others. We learned that mission is key. If we focus on our UU values and meeting the needs of the community, growth will be a byproduct. And I really think that the UU camp last summer was a good example of this. Many UU churches are moving towards a family ministry model, which typically means placing greater emphasis on whole congregation worship, social action projects for all ages, parent support and education, at-home resources, whole congregation social and educational events, and worship and education at times other than Sunday morning. And that really sums up what we would like to move towards also. We learned about many specific creative approaches that other churches are implementing, and I encourage you to read our full report to see all of them, but I'll just highlight a few. The Winchester UU Church offers a family service geared to children. It's 20 minutes long before their regular worship service. One UU church in the Midwest hosts Campfires for Young'uns, which is a monthly gathering around a fire pit with rituals, songs, and stories. Temple Beth Shalom here in Melrose offers a Parents with Young Children support group that gathers monthly on Saturdays and has become so popular that a second group was formed. And the Community Church in New York has created a curriculum for teens using photography and other creative arts as a means of exploring our UU principles. Some of our recommendations then include holding 2 large events each year, open to the whole community, as a way of drawing in new families. We suggest building on the success of the Halloween party and the MLK Day of Service. Organizing intergenerational social action projects, that might be in partnership with Bread of Life, and/or working with the ministry teams. Start planning now for another UU summer camp in 2024. Develop monthly family nights, open to the community, to build connections among children and adults and introduce UU values. And continue to offer OWL in partnership with other local churches, opening up the program to youth in the wider community. If we think about what we want our church to be known for, OWL may be one of those things. And now I'll turn things over to Kathy for some concluding remarks.
When we started this leg of our Next Steps journey back in January, like Indiana Jones in the clip Reverend Suzanne shared in her February 5th sermon, hopefully some of you remember that, we could not see a clear path to achieving our goal. We just had to have the courage to take that first step. And like Indiana Jones, the learning teams discovered the path was there all the time. We just had to have the faith in ourselves to follow it. Gretchen, Jenny, Garen, and Rebecca have just shared with you highlights of the work the learning teams have done over the past 6 months, researching and defining common themes. When the core team pulled all the team reports together to review, we noticed, and perhaps you have as well as you've been listening, that remarkably, as you can see here and on the next slide, many of the individual team common themes were the same. These common themes from all the learning teams lay a solid foundation for the church to move forward with our Next Steps journey in the fall. There is plenty of information in the full learning team's final report for a strategic planning effort to build on, and numerous ideas to start experimenting with in parallel, as listed on this slide and the next. In fact, the learning teams produced so much great information, the hard part will be choosing what the board and we, this church community, believe to be most important and have the capacity to act on. Like today's story, we may be saying goodbye to the learning teams today, but we are also saying hello to the next step in our Next Steps journey. We just need to have the courage and faith to take it on. Again, I want to thank all the members of the learning teams. Your hard work and support are much appreciated. Thank you to everyone who helped by serving as a resource for our work. And thank all of you for listening today. We hope the little bit we have shared today will tempt you to take the time to read the full learning team's final report, or at least the executive summary of it. There is a lot of important information in there to digest. We will be in the parlor after coffee hour to hear what you think and answer questions, and has been mentioned, we'll have a Zoom Q&A discussion on Wednesday evening. Now, please rise in body or in spirit and join in our closing hymn, Life calls us on the screen.
Thank you. Please remain standing and join me in our chalice extinguishing words. We extinguish the flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Please be seated. Our worship has ended. Thank you for a very full and rich year. Thank you to our learning teams. Thank you to our whole congregation. Worship has ended. Please join us, if you will, for coffee hour and refreshments in Parish Hall, and maybe take some and bring them into the parlor so we can have our Q&A. Thank you to people on Zoom, and again, we'll have a Zoom discussion on Wednesday evening. Thank you for worshiping with us today. Happy Sunday.
I'd just like to publicly thank my friends in the choir today. It was their 32nd